Hi, boys and girls. Mrs. Nunes here, and this week we are focusing on making inferences. So you should have a piece of paper ready and pencil or markers if need be. I'm going to do markers so you can better see it, but this week should be quicker because inferences are pretty simple. It's just taking clues. It's like you're a detective and you're going to figure things out. So at the top, we're going to put on your paper inferences. To make an inference. So making inferences. So that's straight in the middle of my paper. Always do our little squiggly. And I am going to put up at the top here just our sketch notes, a magnifying glass, because it's like being a detective, figuring out how things work together. Also, when you figure out things, you can think about math, right? So if you think about a math problem, it's putting what you know and what you're learning together to get the right answer or to get an answer. So that's similar to inferences. We're going to think about it as like a math problem or a detective putting the clues together to solve it. And we put just two things together. That's all we're focusing on. So the very first thing is we have some sort of reading or text to think about, or we've read through it. So I'm going to just do like a book here. And when you're reading or even looking at a picture, listening to other people talk, you're going to take clues from the text or whatever you're looking at or listening. So it could be a picture. So I'll put or picture. Then, so clues from the text plus the next one is called my schema. What does my schema mean, Mrs. Nunes? What are you talking about? But first, I'm just going to draw simple. Of course, you can draw whatever you'd like, but I'm just going to give some curly hair here and some bangs for a person. Of course, if you're a boy, you can go ahead and draw a baseball cap. It doesn't really matter, but this is my schema is what it's called. But how do I know what to do if I don't know what my schema is? Taking from my experience. So schema is your experiences, what you already bring to the table. So what you've learned in your life or done, and any background knowledge. So similar to math, when we learned our multiplication problems, we also build on that multiplication problem to do math in fourth grade. So you start to learn it as you go through the grades, and it all builds upon each other. So if I take that background knowledge of my multiplication, I can then use inverse multiplication to divide. So that is using my background knowledge, and experience could be like the practice to get a better answer. So if we take those two together, what does it make? It makes an inference. So clues plus what I bring to the table equals an inference. So there you go. Pretty quick, right? Couple of things to think about that I'd like for you to add to your notes is over here from the clues to the text, or clues from the text, you can think about in the text it says. So these are the way to say, well, I've made this inference. And a question can be in the text. You can refer right back to the text, citing that evidence. So in the text, it says, whereas on this side, you can think about the question stem of, I know that, can be like that. Now, these are your notes, so you can feel free to stop here. But I'm going to show you an example really quick. If I have this picture right here, I can take clues from my picture based on what I already know to make an inference. I can infer something. So it's something like this. I observe just simple things that I observe. I observe what looks to be like a hurt girl. I observe a hurt girl. Based on that, I can infer. So I see it in the text. I can infer. I see that there's a bike here. I see that she's down. She has her helmet on. It looks like her knee is hurt. Based on my experience and my children, I can also infer, putting those two together, that she fell off her bike. So I observe a hurt girl. So I can infer she fell off of her bike. I observe that it is springtime. I observe green, well, that's probably an inference, green leaves and grass with sunshine. So based on what I know, when things are green, and look, there's still a little brown in there, so I think things are turning based on from winter when it was brown to green. And what I see and what I have experienced in my life, I observe green leaves and grass with sunshine, so I can infer that it could be springtime. What's something else? I observe a lady helping the young girl. Now, based on the picture plus my experience, I would assume, I can infer that this is her mom, because usually, like when my boys ride bikes, I'm around them or close by, and when they get hurt, I'll run over to see if they're okay. So based on that and what I see, my experience, and what I observe, I can infer that the lady, so I observe a lady helping the young girl, so I can infer the lady is the girl's mom. And there you go. So through this week, you're going to go on a camping adventure starting today, and you'll be asked to read things and make inferences. I hope you have fun. Y'all know how much I love camping, so I had to put something in there. And I will see you next week.